having a good weekend so far. So today is Saturday the 9th of November 2013 and we're back with Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It had a week break last week, so there was no new episode at all, but they did do a repeat of one episode. I think it might have been the pilot, I believe. So yeah, so we're back. It's episode 6 titled F.Z.Z.T, or V.Z.T, if you want to get technical. So this was an interesting episode and I actually quite liked this one. I felt it was actually a bit better than what we have had so far, except for the girl in the flower dress, which was quite brilliant. So this one centres around an anomaly that is basically it's killing people through some form of electricity. And I say electricity, but the first thing I thought was, oh, has Thor gone bad all of a sudden? Or is someone else manipulating his power by making us think that it's Thor? Maybe Loki has done something really bad, but we don't know. But no, it wasn't that at all. It's basically, again, it's going back to the Avengers. It's linked to the Avengers itself, and it's involving a Chitauri helmet, and 2 people have died from what has occurred to it. What happens is they get electrocuted in some sense. Well, first of all, they hear a humming sound inside, and they think, oh, is anyone else hearing that? Because you see in the opening scene, a few kids are out camping with like their mentor, and he's hearing this humming sound, and he's like, oh, you kids wait here, I'll go and check it out. So he goes to check out this whatever it is that's causing a problem. Next thing you know, a spark of electricity, and the car battery just gets thrown out of the truck and lands like just outside of it, and it's like, oh, that's interesting. But when they go to find their mentor, he's dead, but he's floating in midair with an intrusion in his head, and it's like, okay, what happened there? So when the agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. decide to go and check it out, Simmons, bless her cottons, goes a bit closer to the body to check it out, and electric current passes from the dead body to herself, thinking, oh, nothing's happened to her, nothing of it whatsoever. Then obviously, as the episode goes on, they find out that it's occurring to someone else has died from it. Then they realise there's a connection. It's to do with what happened in New York, and the 2 people who have died so far are both volunteers they were both volunteers for a fire brigade. So they go to the fire brigade to find out if someone might know something. And then that's when it pretty much dawns on them that they find out what exactly has happened, that it's not someone killing these people. These guys are actually dying from some sort of virus that has been emitted from this Chitauri helmet. They don't know how it's gone inside them until we find out that one of the guys who was still working at the fire brigade, he said that they found it and they were just cleaning it. They didn't do anything else to it. They were just cleaning it. It was, as far as they were concerned, it was harmless. They didn't see what was wrong with them having the helmet in the first place. But then Coulson felt more. He felt more. I should put. He made it personal for himself, because this particular guy that he was talking to, he was trying to see if there's a way that he could save him. He was even telling the guy of his own, death experience, how he was told that he was dead for 8 seconds, but he believes he was dead for more. So you're getting Coulson's experience of what happened to him when he died as well. But there was just no way for him to save this guy, because once that virus was inside, because they hadn't got a cure, there was no way that they could reverse the effects at all. Till we then find that poor old Simmons, as I mentioned earlier, when she had when she got close to the first dead body, the electricity current went through her, she got the virus as well. And it's basically, the rest of the episode is all about, can they find a cure for Simmons before she dies on the plane? Because if an electric current passes through on the plane, they'll literally all die. Every single one of them on the plane will die. So it just wasn't right. You know, they had to quarantine her. Fitz even helped out at one point. Sky, bless her, I think she took it hard, probably harder than the rest of them. I don't know if it was a girl thing or if it's just that Sky really felt, you know, almost responsible in some sense, but she really did feel, you know, like really sad for what was happening to Simmons. And also, I do think that there's something going on between Fitz and Simmons, to be fair. I think that they are a lot. They will end up together at some point. It's just one of those things where they're dancing around each other. That's what it is. And this is Joss Whedon. You know, it's got Joss's signature all over it. Where you've got two characters where you think something's going to happen between those two, but for the first sort of however many episodes, they're going to dance around each other for a bit, and then eventually, boom. You know. So it's one of those things. So we'll see what happens with those two. But yeah, no, as I say, I actually did quite like this one. I thought it was pretty well done, and you do feel for Simmons, because while she knows she's got this virus in her, she feels like it's the end. That's it. There was even one point where she tells Coulson if she's going to inform her parents, if he's going to inform her parents, she's got to tell her dad first, because it will probably sound better coming from her dad to her mum rather than from Coulson to both their parents, because she doesn't believe that her mum will take it as well as what her dad will. So, you know, she gets that sense that as far as she's concerned, that's it. She's done for. Then she does something stupid towards the end, which Coulson was not happy about, but he could understood why she did it, but it was still foolish of her to do it. So yeah, you know, it was a pretty good episode. So next week's episode is titled The Hub. So I'm guessing something happens on the plane, or the bus, as I like to call it, or as they like to call it even. So we'll see what happens there. Now, I don't know if I can't remember if it's next week's episode. I don't think it is next week's episode, but I think it's the week after. But basically, given what we've seen in Thor: The Dark World, and if you have seen Thor: The Dark World, I am going to do a spoiler-filled version of review of the film tomorrow, because I'm going to see it again in about 3 hours' time with a friend of mine. So once I've seen it again, I'll do a spoiler-filled review tomorrow. We'll literally just talk about everything that occurred. Okay, so look out for that. But the reason why I mentioned that film is because I think it's either next week or the week after episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is literally going to follow on from the events of what happened in Thor: The Dark World. So it'll be interesting to see exactly how that goes. So there's going to be our sort of first direct connection to the Marvel Cinematic Universe as such. We're going to have this episode pretty much focusing on what occurred in the events of Thor: The Dark World. So we'll pretty much see exactly how that works out anyway. So there we go. That's it from me, and if you did catch this episode, let me know what you thought of it, and yeah, speak to you all next week. Bye.